Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. Other jewelers hate Steven Singer. Why? Because Steven Singer has the best real natural diamond stud earrings in America. Everybody knows gold and diamond prices are crazy right now. Gold at the highest price in history. That means ever. Lucky for you, Steven Singer has locked in his diamond studs at the old prices. Steven has diamond studs available from a quarter carat all the way up to 10 carats total weight. All at the same perfect price as last year. Same incredible value. There's no better time to get a pair of diamond stud earrings from Steven Singer Jewelers. Yes, this can't last forever. Each pair eye flawless, near colorless, beautiful stuff. They come with his safety silicone bags, so you never have to worry about losing them. Oh, okay. And with his unbeatable full-time value lifetime trade-in, you know your diamonds are always worth what you paid. All backed by the best guarantee in the jewelry business. It's a full 100-day, 100% no-hassle money-back guarantee. Plus fast free shipping. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show. How the hell are yous? Another week just whizzes on by, doesn't it? My God, man. But weather's getting nicer. That's got to be good. I do hear, though, that they're trying, anyway, the weather people are trying to say there's going to be another bomb cyclone. Panic. Everyone panic. I think that's for the upper Midwest, Chicago area or something. But I'm not a weatherman. I'm not a meteorologist. I always thought that word would fit well for a fat urologist, a meteorologist. Thank you. You could take that one if you want. Tell it at the parties. There's a big party going on in the studios up there in New York City right now. I'm broadcasting up to the New York studios, out to the general population, and in betwixt, there's a big party going on. I think I was invited to it like 3 hours before it kicked off, and I'm a few hundred miles away. Couldn't make it. Wish I could. I do like a good shindig. It's apparently an Oscar party. Oscar. It is the 98th Oscar Awards, the Academy Awards. And my God, I really don't care. Personally, I do a show. Allegedly. I allegedly do a radio show. So, we have to sometimes comment and talk about things we're not particularly interested in. And I haven't really had an interest in the Academy Awards in quite some time. Years ago, it was great. You could sit back with your family. The old TV Guide had a page, a full page, even more than just one page, of all the nominees, and there were little boxes next to them. You could check off which one you thought was going to win, and you'd have your favorites, and you'd make little friendly bets with your family, and then you'd all sit down and watch the damn thing. And it was great. It was a great family experience, and we cared. We cared about the actors and actresses and the movies, and who's going to get best special effects, who's going to get best sound in a foreign short film. Always my favorite category, by the way. But now, they have tainted the movie industry so much, so badly, with their holier-than-thou attitudes and their we're going to tell you how to live your life and we're going to tell you what America should be, and they are the least qualified people. They live away from the general public. Some of these people, if they were child stars and they grew up in the industry, they have no clue. They've never known what it was like to live amongst the wild animals, the prairie-fed Americans. They don't know. Like, I've heard Leo DiCaprio is a nice guy. I've heard that. I've had some friends, of course, that were police officers in New York City, and he would roll in with his posse. If I may use a word the kids are using today, posse. And he was very nice. He was very cordial to everybody. But that guy has been a celebrity since he was a little child. And he is now, I mean, he's bigger than he was when he's bigger physically, too, than a child. But as far as a child star goes, he has made it. You know, he actually grew up constantly in movies. I don't think he was ever out of it and then had a comeback, you know? And how does this guy that's lived that life know anything about how the American people live their lives, the struggles they have, their ideologies, and what annoys us? Yeah, I worked for a living. Don't worry about it. So it disqualifies them. In my mind, look, they could talk. Everyone's got freedom of speech. But you kind of disqualify what they're saying because you know they don't have any credibility or any experience in what the hell they're talking about when it comes to living a life. There are some celebrities that it didn't click for them until later on, or some that were child stars and then, you know, they aged out of that genre, that place in Hollywood. God knows the atrocities that happen to them. And then they make a comeback and they do very well. And maybe they can say, yeah, I've worked for a living. I had to wait tables or park cars before I got this movie. And at least they know, they have some inkling of what the hell is going on in the world. But most of these vapid, holier-than-thou jackasses that you see on the red carpet, they don't know. They don't know. But they have no problem telling you what you should be doing. And that has just Brillo and bleached away the shine, the glitter on old Tinseltown, Hollywood. And I was just, as I do throughout the program, I will be checking X, formerly Twitter. My account is Anthony Cumia, and I post a little thing saying I'm going to be doing this show. And if you have comments on the show and you can't get through on the phones, you could reach me there. I check, I read things, and my comment on it on the show. If you want the phone line, that would be 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. And the first thing I see, this is seconds in to the Academy Awards. The host, Conan O'Brien. Conan, funny guy, right? Conan O'Brien's show is very funny. We started losing him with the Haiti situation when Donald Trump called Haiti a crap hole. I have to adhere to certain rules and regulations by the government. He called it a crap hole. I'm paraphrasing. And Conan thought it would be great to take his show down to Haiti and do a few shows from down there and talk about how wonderful Haiti is. And he went to a resort, and he was protected by, I can't even imagine the amount of security that Conan O'Brien gets down in Haiti. And they show him drinking a coconut drink floating in the water and saying, does this look like a crap hole? No. I'm sure in 1968, some of the beaches of Vietnam looked awesome. I wouldn't want to surf on them unless you're Kilgore. But I think he was trying to cover for what? For the Clintons? All the money they contributed, that supposedly contributed, that did nothing for Haiti? I don't know. I don't know what the motive is here. But Conan, he lost me there. I thought he was a very funny guy. I thought he was a regular kind of knock around funny guy. And then he does this Haiti thing. No, Haiti is a crap hole. And especially now. Look at it now. There's people eating other people to get their strength. That's what I hear. There are warlords that have bizarre names. Buck Naked. General Buck Naked is down there. I don't know if he's still down there, but he was. And that doesn't sound very good to me. So Conan's hosting, and his first joke of the night was, hey, it's the first time since 2012 there are no British actors nominated for Best Actor or Best Actress. A British spokesperson said, yeah, well, at least we arrest our pedophiles. Get it? Now, the unbelievable gall to say that joke in front of the Hollywood community. Probably the biggest collection of pedos. There have been so many young stars that have been destroyed because of the Hollywood industry taking advantage of the youngsters and spitting them out the other end of this Hollywood machine. Drug addicts, psychological disasters, mental patients. And to make a joke like that, and you know what he's doing is he's firing that one at Donald Trump, who's been accused of all kinds of things, the Epstein files, and there's nothing there of legitimacy that you could say, oh, yeah, they should arrest the guy. He did this, that, or the other thing. Nothing. But that's what he's doing, and I'm sure they all chuckled and laughed as they looked next to them and know that people in that audience they're sitting in, that well-dressed, well-to-do audience they're sitting in, are ghoulish criminals as far as child abuse goes. So that's how we kick it off, with a hypocritical joke by once funny Conan O'Brien. There's also, we'll get to this in a bit when we come back, the requirements in order to even be nominated by the Academy for movies. And it's an insane collection of diversity, equity, and inclusion requirements that I believe completely tear asunder the ability for an artist to show their art because they're forced to use certain actors and actresses. It's a catastrophe. And we'll talk about it next. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for tuning in on this Sunday evening. Oscar night. Ooh, the excitement's in the air. I am reminded of a story that I told many years ago when I was with the Opie and Anthony show. I was the Anthony portion, if you didn't know. But myself and Opie, we went out to Hollywood, California, for the Oscar Awards. And we actually were doing broadcasts from the Comedy Store. And we had a remote set up, and we were interviewing celebrities. And then afterward, we figured we'd go over to the Oscar party that they have every year. And we couldn't get near the place. We were trying to stand, at one point we were standing on a log outside the fenced-in area to look over the fence and see celebrities. And we were told we weren't even allowed to stand on the log. This is how protected these Hollywood jackasses are, as they tell you to, be tolerant, and diversity is our greatest strength, and invite illegal into your household and whatever. We weren't allowed to stand on the log looking over the fence at the anointed Hollywood celebrities. We always got a big laugh out of that. It's like we are just pieces of garbage that they don't find worthy enough to gaze upon them over offense. Unbelievable. But we celebrate them tonight. It's the 96th, is it? No. Oh, 98th. 98th Academy Award. Starting in 19. Jesus. Anthony, get it straight. Starting with the 96th Academy Award in 2024, the Academy decided that there were going to be requirements in motion pictures to be eligible for Best Picture. And these requirements were put in place because some people thought the Oscars were too white. Remember Oscars too white? It was a hashtag back when we used hashtags. So they had to, they screamed, they panicked, they were guilted, they felt terrible as if they've invaded a foreign land and killed the indigenous people and set up camp. So they had to do something. And what they did was make requirements. Your movie will not even be eligible for a nomination if it doesn't have these certain qualifications. And I don't see this as a good thing, but who am I? On-screen representation. This is the racial, ethnic, and sex requirements to be eligible for the Best Picture. On-screen representation, standard A, must meet one of the following. Lead actor or significant supporting cast. At least one lead actor or significant supporting cast is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. They give examples. Asian, Black, Hispanics, Latinx or Latinx, Indigenous, Middle Eastern, North African, Pacific Islander. So you're forced to make a change if your screenplay or your motion picture did not include one of these people. You now have to change your impression of what your movie was supposed to be. As an artist, as a writer, as a producer, director, you now need to alter what your vision of that picture was going to be and shove a big fat Pacific Islander in there maybe as a lead or significant supporting cast member. Imagine that. Imagine the horror if you want both of your leads to be white guys. Like True Lies. Arnold Schwarzenegger and what's his name? It's two white guys. Well, you can't do that. Although they did have a Middle Eastern villain in that, but I'm sure there'd be hell to pay. Tom Arnold. I'm sure there'd be hell to pay nowadays if you had a Middle Easterner as the villain, which we saw in that movie. Now they have to be Russians, like the evil Russian guy. The Russian mafia is the bad guy these days. Or if you don't want to do that, you could choose general cast members. At least 30% of all actors in minor roles are from at least two underrepresented groups. Examples: women, racial ethnic groups, LGBTQ+, or disabled. I want someone rolling in the background on a rascal scooter. Or I need lesbians to be making out in front of a store when my lead character walks on by. How about that? No? It's not suiting you? Well, maybe this one will get you. Theme or narrative. The main storyline, theme or narrative, focuses on an underrepresented group. This one's really hilarious. Oh, let me just rewrite everything about my story because it doesn't involve a theme or narrative focusing on underrepresented groups. Well, if you want to be considered for an Academy Award, you damn well better get your crap straight and make your movie about underrepresented groups. What if it's a white guy, but he's the normal idiotic, retarded white guy that we see in movies these days and in commercials and everywhere, actually. How about that? How about they add that to the list? Yeah, we'll just make an idiot, and he's the white guy, and then all the other underrepresented groups could laugh at him and then tell him what he's supposed to do right. There you go. There's also creative leadership and crews. This is the standard B. This must also be. This isn't one of the one choices. You better choose the significant actor, general cast, or theme narrative, because now this is new. You got to do this also. Creative leadership and crew must meet one of the following. Leadership team. At least 2 creative leaders or department heads, example, director, writer, composer, belong to an underrepresented group, including at least one from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. Imagine, like, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. You have your director, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, your writers, Spielberg and Lucas, and other writers that help, composer, John Williams. I don't think anybody can say that we missed out because John Williams put the music to so many Spielberg, Lucas movies. I don't think we could really say, boy, if only an underrepresented group, including an underrepresented racial or ethnic group, came up with, the music to Star Wars or Indiana Jones or E.T. or Close Encounters or, yeah, right? I'm right there, right? Then, of course, we have overall crew. You could pick that if you don't want your director, writer, or composer to be underrepresented. At least 30% of the crew belongs to underrepresented groups. Overall crew. So if you don't want 2 of your creative leaders to be from an underrepresented group, a solid 1/3 of your crew has to be part of the group. Additional standards cover paid apprenticeships, in-house marketing and production teams, emphasizing diversity in hiring and training. Holy Jesus Palomino. That isn't going to interfere with somebody's vision of the movie they want to make? And it's required to be eligible. Enjoy your Academy Awards this evening, folks. We'll be right back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and we're talking Oscars for the time being. The Academy Awards. There it is. Marilyn Monroe making her way down the red carpet. Let's see. Yeah. All the pomp and circumstance, all the glitter of Hollywood. Tonight, the celebrities shine as they pat each other on the back for saying the dumbest things you've ever heard. Making their way down the red carpet, it's Paul Newman. Paul Newman, who made wonderful spaghetti sauce. He was in a few movies, too, I hear. I hear tell. Here's Roman Polanski. Uh-oh, he's being chased by the police. He's a naughty boy. Quentin Tarantino. He's looking at as many celebrity starlet feet as he can. What a creep. Thank you. So far, Sinners is 0-4 at the Oscars. Sinners, of course, a movie. Boy, it would fit all those categories of requirements for the Oscars. Black cast, production team, and whatnot. And it was nominated for more Oscars than any motion picture in Academy Award history. How about that? And it is 0-4 so far that I see. Maybe more now. My news on the Oscars is maybe 16 minutes old. Conan O'Brien with another zinger against the establishment, man. They're so brave. Conan says, I should warn you, tonight could get political. And if that makes you uncomfortable, there's an alternate Oscars hosted by Kid Rock at the Dave & Buster's down the street. All right. Yeah. All right. It is funny. It's kind of a funny joke. You know, the Super Bowl alternative that Kid Rock and company put on. But again, it's all one-sided. It's all one-sided. Are we going to get any jokes about Bill Clinton and Hillary with the Epstein list and their testimony? Are we going to get that? Are we going to get any Jazzy Jasmine Crockett and how she self-destructed and had a security guard that was wanted by the police and shot in a standoff by the police with the police? So I don't know, but let me know if there's any jokes that use the left, the Democrats, or these celebrities in any funny way, because I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. What happened? I tried to hit one of the phone lines, and it just went gray on me. Kevin? Uh-oh. Well, how about that? There it is. Terry in
Yes.
Dutchess County. What's up, my friend?
Well, yeah, now you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-oh.
The
What?
knife.
What are you talking about, Terry?
How did that thing work? How did it work?
I gotta just bail on Terry. I don't know what he's saying. There's Kevin. Kevin, Long Beach. What's up, my friend?
Hey, was that Teddy or Terry?
It said Terry. It was probably Teddy. What's
How
up,
you doing,
man?
man?
Good.
Yeah, you are encapsulating everything. I mean, ever since that mandate came down from the academy, I think it's pretty much more after George Floyd as well.
Yep.
They've gotten everything they wanted, and now you've got nothing. Hollywood is dying, and sound stages are closing, production companies moving out. You know, why do you think you don't see Nicholson or Hoffman or Eastwood or Warren Beatty in the audience anymore?
Yeah, they're still alive. Why aren't they
Yeah.
there? Hollywood royalty, parade them out and sit them down. Yeah.
All the talent is gone, man. You know, Wicked and the sequel didn't have one white person on the crew.
Yeah, see, they adhered to the regulations of the Academy. Amazing.
That's right. Yeah.
It really is something else when they sacrifice the quality of the movie. If you put requirements on art, you've lost. That's it. And to say that you need certain actors or writers, directors, composers, crew, whatever it is, that is someone's vision, and you are requiring something be put in there that they did not want put in there. Now, it doesn't make them racist or sexist or homophobic. It's just what their vision was, and we've seen the result of that before this criteria. Amazing movies. I cannot find anything to watch anymore. And I think it's because they've concentrated so much on pouring this diversity, equity, and inclusion crap all over everything, and it definitely ruins the product. And we've seen it.
Absolutely.
Never has go woke, go broke meant so much as it has in the Hollywood circles.
That's true. And this Sinners, I said, let me watch one of these that are nominated so I could be familiar with something.
Right.
It's a vampire movie. That's all it is. And if anything, they ripped off Dusk Till Dawn.
It's Dusk Till Dawn with a black cast. And, there were black cast members in Dusk Till Dawn. You didn't go like, oh, you need to have that cast member in there. That's the way it was cast. And, making requirements for certain races and sexuality and whatnot being in your movie like that, it can't work. It cannot pump out a better product.
And I can't believe the unions went along with this. SAG and IATSE. I mean, come on, man. You know,
Oh, believe me.
Old white guy.
SAG isn't going to go along with it. Put it this way. You could replace that S with another letter, and it would be completely appropriate.
Hey, listen, let me give you one more thing. You know, I've been listening to a lot of O&A on
the old
remembering
days.
how great it was on YouTube. But
Yeah.
you were very prescient back then. You
Yes.
were way ahead of the curve, man.
That's what they tell me.
Obama was all about.
I had Obama pegged, well, not as much as Big
right.
Mike did, but I had Obama pegged as what he was for quite some time. And seeing, I was vindicated.
Smartest guy in that room, man.
Yeah.
And another thing, when the World Cup was starting to come into America, and I remember Opie said, you know, it'll never catch on here and everything else. And you're like, have you looked at the border lately? Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
Oh, no, I know. I feel totally vindicated these days. I think everything I was saying at the time when I was being called racist, sexist, homophobic, this, that, the other thing, it all came to fruition. So, you know,
absolutely.
Vindication. It's a
You had
wonderful
one-
thing, but it's
and you
a
had
bittersweet victory, Kevin. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for the call. There he is, Long Beach. I went down there a couple of times. Not a bad place. Long Beach. I wouldn't drink at a party and then drive home. They're one of those places that have their own police department, Long Beach. Oof, they are just looking. I never did, thank goodness. Long Island has like those places where they have their own police department, and it's a double whammy. You know, the county police and the state police are one thing, but those local town police, ooh, man, do they want to get an arrest. They want to get a collar under their belt for the evening. Long Beach was like that. Northport, Long Island on the North Shore was like that. And Northport has a hell of a lot of bars and clubs and things. And one road out. It was a setup for a Dewey. All these bars going down Main Street right to the Long Island Sound. One end of Main Street was the Long Island Sound, and you had to drive one way out after a Friday or Saturday night of hanging out in the bars. Man, and this was pre-Uber days. Pre-Uber days. It was crazy. All right. I guess I could fit in Clown of the Week here. Maybe if we could fire up, I haven't done it in a while, the old sounder, the old song. I hope this was a underrepresented composer that came up with this song. But, yeah, let's do a little Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Yes, and we have a returning Clown of the Week. It's not Rosie O'Donnell. She's made it quite a few times. It's not a Hollywood celebrity, and they've plenty of Hollywood celebrities have been dubbed Clown of the Week. It is New York's own Senator Chuck Schumer. That's right. AC1 is the clip, and Chuck Schumer says that, get this, this is beyond all reason, that requiring ID in order to vote is cheating. Let me make sure you heard that right. Not having ID, not requiring ID would make it easier for fraud and cheating. He says that requiring voter ID somehow is cheating. Maybe the way he says it is a little more coherent than me. I don't know. Let's take a listen.
We're not talking about immigrants. We're talking about American citizens that are going to be kicked off the rolls. Lots of them. It'll make it far harder for people to register to vote. It'll take away vote by mail. It'll eliminate online registration. All of these tried and true and safe ways to participate in democracy, but Trump wants to take them away. We know what's going on. Donald Trump knows that November is starting to look disastrous for him. And Republicans are seeing the same thing. So the only shot of winning in Trump's mind is to cheat The only shot of winning this election for Donald Trump is to cheat. It's to undermine democracy. This is ghastly. This is one of the worst things we've seen in America in a very long time.
It's Hitler. It's crazy. It's Nazis. It's the worst thing ever. How do you come up with that? How do you twist that around so that showing ID is how you cheat? Americans will be taken off the voter rolls? This isn't about illegal aliens? Yeah, it is. Of course it is. If you don't have to show proof of who you are and proof that you are here legally and you are allowed to vote as an American citizen, then you can cheat because you don't have an ID that proves that you're a citizen and who you are. How the hell does this, I can't even say it, how does he come up with having required ID to vote is cheating? That's what they do. This is how they lie. They misinform the people on purpose. It's not an accident. It's not some kind of we screwed up. I didn't mean that. No, he means it because he wants to brainwash the sheep, the easily malleable minds of the liberal, to think that somehow it's cheating. And we've seen them at the protests when someone comes up with a mic and goes, so how will this prevent people from voting? And they're like, I don't know, George. I hear that a married woman won't be able to vote. What? How? How? Since that pesky damn 19th Amendment, they've been allowed to vote. Nothing's going to change that. It would literally be unconstitutional. They could get IDs. They have IDs. Married women have IDs. What is this? Little House on the Prairie? Did Pa Ingalls tell his wife Ma Ingalls that she couldn't vote? Oh, wait, she couldn't. What a wonderful time back in the I'm going to make some women very angry. Susan's going to call me with half a bag on, screaming at me about the 19th Amendment. No, the bottom line here is it makes voting more secure. Nothing that would be required would prevent an American citizen from voting. They lie to you about it constantly. This is a constant lie that you need a birth certificate and a passport. Do you know it was spelt out in the bill itself? The state has the burden of giving these people the documentation that they would need. If someone comes in and goes, I don't know, my house burnt down, I lost my birth certificate, I'm too stupid to go online and get it because that's all it takes. The state then has to use its resources to come up with a birth certificate for this person. And they have to prove who they are. And they could do that under sworn testimony or somebody else that will swear that it is a person, which would lead maybe, hopefully, to consequences for people that are trying to commit fraud. Doesn't that sound like something we want as Americans in our elections? We want to curtail fraud as much as we possibly can. And then when fraud is committed, we want consequences to be put on the people trying to commit the fraud. And the SAVE Act, that bill has that in it. And Chuck Schumer has to get in front of America and try to say how this would be cheating. How do you do that? The balls it takes to just get in front of the American people and lie like that. But he doesn't care. He knows he's impervious to any consequence. This guy has held the office like a pope. He'll be in there till the day he dies. Chuck Schumer will be the senator from New York. We could obviously get into segue into term limits, but that's not going to happen. We see how these politicians, they write themselves raises. They exempt themselves from certain laws that they write. Soon, let me see. Yeah, a little later on, we'll talk about the Virginia Democrats who are putting in place some of these draconian gun control laws, which are definitely an infringement on Virginians' Second Amendment rights. And we'll hear how they want exceptions for their General Assembly, for them. They don't want to adhere to the very constitutionally infringing laws that they're putting in place that they say, yeah, but we don't have to pay attention to them. We could carry guns. We could have guns in our vehicles. We could have guns a certain distance from the state capitol and other government buildings, but you can't. You can't protect yourself. Why would you think you should be able to protect yourself? This Virginia, we got a couple of things coming out of Virginia, this program, we'll be talking about it, that are just a shining example of what could happen on a larger scale if these monsters are put in charge. These mental patient liberal Democrats, feminist liberal Democrats are put in charge. And it can happen, people. Don't think it can't. We're seeing it in Virginia, and it's abominable. All right, we will talk about it and a lot more coming up.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And, boy, a lot to discuss, a lot to weed out this Sunday evening. Let's talk to Joaquin, of course, in PA. What's up, my friend?
Good evening, Anthony. You know, I want to take you back to another day, a younger Anthony Cumia. I remember this one when you're talking about the drinking, and Long Beach and stuff.
Yeah.
Taking your road test, determining what your level should be.
Yes, I came up with a grand plan that I don't think people really gravitated towards. Here's what I think we should do, and it would make a lot of money for the cities and states. I can't believe I'm gonna tell this idea that I had. Many people are affected differently by their alcohol intake. Some people can drink a lot and you could barely notice any intoxication. Other people, one beer and they're gone. And so this can depend on weight and size and things, but that isn't necessarily the be-all, end-all factor in determining if somebody is indeed intoxicated. I suggested when they lowered the blood alcohol level to 0.08 in a lot of places, from, what was it, 0.1?
0.1.
0.1, and then they went to 0.08. So I suggested, for the cost of a lot of money, that they put you through a driver's test where you drink and then you drive through the test. And it's a pretty intricate test. And then on your license, you get a blood alcohol rating. So that when you get pulled over and the officer says you've been drinking, you go, yeah. And then you give him the license and he goes, oh, you're a 0.12. And then you blow in the breathalyzer and you're a 0.08. And then he goes, okay, have a great evening. And you drive home because you've passed the drunk test.
Believe me, I agreed with you 100%. They could have given me that test in the tractor trailer. Not this, I never drank or drove a tractor trailer, but And I saw that whole thing as the beginning of the police state because that was around the time they started coming out with the DWI checkpoints.
Right.
I never had them. before. You know, and so now all of a sudden they bring this thing that can stop you from traveling to check you out. You know, so.
Yeah, we all got the stories of our youth back in when we first started driving, the late 70s, early 80s, where, you know, they weren't as
no, they weren't
as crazy about dragging you out of your car and arresting you. Now, look, I understand drunk driving deaths have decreased a lot since they have gotten more stringent with their policing of drunks. I get it. Look, and at my age now, I look at drunk driving like, you know, what are you doing? There's Ubers now. You don't have to. Most people's bars, local bar they go to, isn't 100 miles away. You take an Uber there, an Uber back, and, you know, you don't know if you saved a life or kept yourself from having to get a lawyer. It's just better than driving drunk. That's for sure. But my take on it as a young guy was a lot different. It was like you'd play police Pac-Man on your drive home, and once you made it and parked your car all crooked in the driveway to see the next morning, you went, whew, I made it. So times change, your ideas change, and I don't think I'm as into the drunk driver's license these days, but in a way it still makes sense.
Yeah, but let's get to the topic of the day, I guess.
Yes,
you know something, this whole thing about Hollywood, I'm sorry, man, but, you know, back in the 1950s, Senator Joe McCarthy was right.
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
think that Edward Morrow was a communist plant or something like that took him out because, you know, you got that Yuri Bezmenov, who I talk about a lot, that people can watch the interview.
Yeah.
He explains the whole process, how the communists decided to take over this country by infiltrating things like our educational system. Of course, you train the young minds of mush, right?
Yep.
You brainwash them, and then you take over the entertainment industry, which also brainwashes everybody, you know, and all the way on through. And so what you got now is you have Hollywood, which is basically nothing but a communist propaganda machine. And this was all laid out for us back in the 1950s, you know, and unfortunately, we didn't listen, and so now the Muslims have aligned themselves with the communists that, you know, they want to take over the world, and so they become bedfellows. And I'm talking about Muslims. I'm not talking about radical Muslims either. I'm talking about Islam in general.
Yeah.
People do not want to wake up, and they don't want to smell the coffee on this stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing when you think back to the 50s and the communist hearings that they had, Joe McCarthy, and for so long, it was looked at like Joe McCarthy was the piece of garbage and the paranoid guy that saw communists under every rock. And now you look at that in hindsight and you're like, oh, yeah, this guy was absolutely right. And Hollywood has done nothing to disprove that it's full of communists, contrary to the fact they have proven more over the course of the years that they are communists. And they will do anything it takes. They will back any of these illegal alien stay in this country programs in order to destroy and tear down our American society so that the communists can take over.
Yeah, and Schmucky Schumer, he's worrying about us taking American citizens off of voting rolls. This is another thing they're lying about. And this goes back, you know, also, too, and makes me think about the census thing and how they allow a lot the seats in Congress. Yeah. And they say, they should count everybody, whether they're citizens or not.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Are you nuts? Well, this is why they've gotten more seats in these blue states now, because they count all these illegal immigrants that they're flooding in.
But ID is cheating, Joaquin. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, communism was the worst thing possible. You hated the commies, the red commies, better dead than red. And now everyone's a damn communist. I don't know. Where did we go wrong? Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Hey, thank you for tuning in. And it's Oscar night. Oh, boy. Could feel it in the air, can't you? No? All right. A couple of funny comments on my X account, Anthony Cumia, in the comments. Conan, of course, Conan O'Brien hosting the Oscars and made a joke about at least they arrest their pedophiles when referencing the English as opposed to us here in the States who don't arrest their pedophiles because Donald Trump is still walking around. Get it? The audience went crazy, applauding and laughing. And meanwhile, how many of them in that Hollywood community have done that? And then, who is this? Tinan Andy Wang. I wonder how Conan will feel about not calling the cops when they show Rob Reiner in the In Memoriam segment. Ooh. Yeah, Rob Reiner, as we all know, murdered by his son. Rob, his wife, and the son were attending Conan O'Brien's party at the time. What was it, a Christmas party, I think? And he was making a big scene. He was becoming violent and annoying the guests at this party. And no one called the cops because, that would be in bad taste. How do you explain to Rob Reiner that you're throwing a party here and you had to call the cops on his kid because he's being disruptive and violent to the guests? And, we all know how that evening went. And that's pretty interesting take, how Conan feels about watching the In Memoriam. Billy Crystal ended up doing they did a whole memorial segment on him, not just a picture in the In Memoriam. So, I don't know how he felt, but yeah, that's a little uncomfortable. That's a little weird. Happy International Islamophobe Day, everybody. It is indeed, at least for a few more hours, Combat Islamophobia Day, which was invented in 2022 by the United Nations. And how this is a thing when bombs have been thrown at police officers in New York during an anti-Islamic protest is beyond me. But if you didn't know, it is International Islamophobe or don't be an Islamophobe Day. It's so stupid. So Mamdani, because he's Islam, he's a Muslim, he broke his Ramadan fast. He was fasting for Ramadan, as the Muslims will do, and he broke the fast in his office at Gracie Mansion. He invited a bunch of people there. A lot of them seemed to also be Muslims. They took their shoes off, sat on the floor, and ate some disgusting food with their hands, is what I saw. And, I just cannot make peace with this. I was in New York City on 9/11, and I cannot make peace with this. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry if people call me Islamophobic on this International Don't Be Islamophobic Day. But I cannot put that away. I cannot forget what I saw on 9/11 and just go, oh, we have a Muslim mayor now. He's sitting in Gracie Mansion with his shoes off, sitting on the floor with a bunch of other Muslims wrapping up their Ramadan fast, and it's beyond me. Here are some of the sounds. This is about, not even a half a minute of the sounds of Mayor Mamdani. Invited people over, Muslims on the floor, barefoot, eating disgusting food, AC2.
Allahu Akbar. You want to make some of that?
A moment where you're asking yourself how you can reconnect to growing up with being taught that
منورين والله والله
I can't. I can't deal with that and go, yeah, that's fine. We need diversity. We need acceptance and tolerance and this and that and that. When I hear Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar coming out of Gracie Mansion like that, it's what they scream when things go south. It's what those two gentlemen yelled when they threw a bomb at New York police officers, NYPD officers, and protesters. It's what I'm certain Mohammed Atta was yelling while he was plowing a jet aircraft full of passengers into the World Trade Center. It's what you hear every time an IED goes off and American soldiers are killed. I can't put that aside when you hear, well, no, they're just, it's God is great, and they're just saying that as it's a different context. Oh, is it? Is it? How would you like to hear Heil Hitler as a different context? Well, I'm not talking about, the Roman salute and the goose stepping and the death and destruction and whatnot in World War II. No, it's different. I mean it differently when I say it, as a good thing, as a peaceful, nice thing. It's the same words. Allahu Akbar. I don't want to hear it. I certainly don't want to hear it in the mayor's mansion of the city that was attacked by Islam on 9/11. Can't do it. I just can't be that guy. And I know a hell of a lot of people that feel the same exact way as I do. If you could, tuck that aside and go, well, it's good. It's good that we have a Muslim mayor, and they say the battle cry of Islamic extremists before they murder a bunch of people. It's the same words, but no, it's different. The ISIS salute, you had a guy sitting there with him, breaking the Ramadan fast, and he's holding up the one finger, which is the ISIS salute. Islamic fundamentalists, radicals, murderers, that's the salute. Oh, but it's okay because he's with Mamdani. They're hanging out. They're just eating. Don't worry about it. Don't worry if you hear the battle cry of Islamic terrorists and the salute of Islamic terrorists. It's fine. Yeah. Am I alone here? Am I alone? Am I a babe in the woods? Am I too invested with my age and experience and seeing what Islam has done and Islamic extremist terrorists have done over the course of a century, maybe even longer now, but indeed in the decades that I've been alive, I've seen enough to where I don't think people should be yelling out the battle cry of ISIS and other Muslim terrorists in the mayor's mansion. I don't care if he's a Muslim and he wants to celebrate his little traditions, which, by the way, I still think is a jab at Westerners who aren't Muslim. Yeah, let's do this right here. Let's just put prayer rugs down on the floor, and we'll take our shoes off, and we'll hear Allahu Akbar, and we'll video it and put it out there for everyone to see. They know. They know it brings down morale for Americans that aren't Muslims. It's New York City. I vividly remember 25 years ago. I cannot believe it. How in the hell? 25 years, and here we are with a Muslim mayor and his guests giving terrorist salutes and speaking the battle cry that they yell out before people are murdered. But I'm intolerant. I am Islamophobic. I'm racist for even saying what I'm saying right now. Meanwhile, an unbelievable number of Americans feel exactly the same way as I do. They're saying it. I'm just privileged to be able to say it to a bunch of people on the airwaves, because not enough people have the ability to do that. They will be fired. They will lose everything, their jobs, their family, their credibility. They won't be able to monetize themselves, whatever it is. Getting that scarlet letter R for racist put on you is not an easy way to go through life. So they don't speak out, speak up. And I feel privileged to be able to do that for a lot of the people, the voiceless out there that feel the exact same way. Back in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And let's hit up Mike over here in Manhattan. Mike, what's up?
Hello, I'm a first-time caller, and I feel privileged to share my insight with you. Islamophobia is a screen, a deflection. I use the term Islamo-awareness.
There you go.
That's what I want to propagate, because you can't deny it's the most murderous religion, and they kill all the time, and they scream their God and everything else. But
yeah.
I lost 4 people in 9/11 because I'm a retired cop. But I also happen to be a clown, and I would like you to come up with an alternative to Clown of the Night. How about Joker? Is that okay with you?
Clown has been tossed around over the course of history as being, that guy's a clown.
I know it's an insult. Yes.
Yeah, believe me, if it wasn't FCC regulated airwaves, it would be a lot worse than clown. Believe that.
By the way, before you hang up on me, Dr. Reinhold Amann created Maledicta, the International Society of Verbal Aggression, and I had a laugh with him because he had an insult calendar, and his insult for December 27th was clown. So, it's an insult that has a couple of meanings.
Yep.
And anyway, you should have that insult calendar. When I was the cop of Washington Square Park, I'd ask a kid, hey, what's your birthday? Why do you want to know? Well, I have an insult calendar here, and I said, according to this, you're an imbecile. Then I let him and his friends insult each other. I never got in trouble.
That's amazing. These days, you'd be thrown off the force, and they'd sue you for abuse or something. So the good old days.
Come up with can I share another word, which I know you'll love? Shrivelization.
Oh, that's a good one. Right. Shrivelization. What we're going through right now.
Yes, and also the mayor became a mayor in the year of the rat, the year of the snake, the Chinese year of the snake. He's been called a snake oil salesman, and I said, and I continue to say, he's full of shit. And
watch the language there. I had to cut Mike off there for a bit, dropping the dreaded S word. If somebody hears the S word coming out of a radio, my God, the entire planet. It would be like going through a black hole or hitting antimatter. It just, everything explodes. Yeah. Scroll on your phone for 3 seconds. You will hear and see a lot worse than the S word. I don't know. I think the FCC has to revamp their rules and regs as far as what's offensive to the society or the community at hand. But it's quaint. I find it charming in a way, especially having done and doing a satellite radio show or an internet show where, anything goes. It's quaint. It's like when you went over grandma's house and you're like, no, don't say those words. And then you go hang out with your friends and your potty mouth. But thank you, Mike, with your potty mouth. Speaking of Memdani, not just the fact that he is a Muslim, and I can't figure that whole thing out with New York and 9/11, he's also a terrible, terrible mayor. Terrible. He wants to win back the wealthy New Yorkers who skip town. A lot of them are leaving. And we see this happening in every one of these blue cities that are run by liberal Democrats or communists or whatever. They're not good. And a lot of people are fleeing these places for greener pastures, lower taxes, more of their rights not being trampled upon. And Mamdani, he says that he's going to win back wealthy New Yorkers. Now, how would a mayor win back those wealthy New Yorkers that might have left? AC6, and we will hear Mayor Mamdani how in the hell he's going to get these wealthy businesses back to New York.
Amidst being in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we already see an exodus of working and middle-class New Yorkers. So I don't have a hesitation in asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more so that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also something not just about justice or the ability for working-class people to live here. It is also actually about ensuring that corporations can continue to attract the top talent to this city. Because in a city where childcare costs more than $20,000 a year, I've heard from corporate leaders about how difficult it is for them to attract individuals who would work at their companies but want to raise a family, because you could be making $300,000 a year and you will feel that $20,000 a year because of the fact that we have allowed for the absence of affordable childcare to become reality here in this city.
Oh, so more taxes. Just more taxes. And if you make $300,000 a year, you're going to feel that $20,000 for childcare. Well, maybe you get a babysitter, maybe you do something else that's cheaper, but you're not going to feel that $20,000 coming out in taxes. And don't think it won't, because it's not just the property taxes and city taxes and state taxes. They tax you without using that pesky word tax. Congestion pricing is a great example of that. Oh, that's so people don't drive in. So they take public transportation. Everyone wins. The city wins because the people driving in have to pay $9 anytime they drive into Midtown. The city also wins because people that can't afford to drive in will take public transportation. So everyone wins, right? Oh, wait a minute. Except for the citizens that can't afford to drive their car in, that have to take public transportation and are being pushed in front of trains by lunatics. How about that? Doesn't seem like a win there, does it? That's not quite a win. They've taxed the hell out of you without using the word tax. So you're paying a lot more than that. And then what does he want to do? He wants to use your tax money for these crap programs that don't help anyone but his group of marginalized people, as he calls it. You know, we got to give out the welfare and the free child care and food and clothing to illegal aliens and hotel rooms. It's over $1 billion they've agreed upon. This guy is in a over $5 billion shortfall in the New York City budget. And instead of cutting things, he's adding like $1 billion for the illegal homeless in the city. He won't cut anything. They'll cut things that we need. NYPD has already cut some of the projections on recruiting, so you'll have less cops. But perish the thought you don't give free stuff to the people. And I'm still waiting on the free fast buses. That had to be his number one gimmick over the whole thing. You know, rent freezes was another one, but yeah, he's not going to do anything with that. Rent won't get cheaper. It just won't. He had all kinds of harebrained schemes about how he was going to do that. And again, it was taxing the rich. And if somebody, a wealthy New Yorker, wants to sell their property in New York City has the first right to bid on that and get it accepted. And then they run the person that wants to sell the property through a gauntlet that could take a year to sell the property while they're still paying taxes, just so eventually they bow down and go, all right, take it, New York City. Take it off my hands. And then they could make it low-cost housing and illegal immigrant housing. That's the scheme, and it's never coming to fruition. Thank God even New York has checks and balances in place to keep this guy from doing stuff. When we come back, I will talk about the death tax that Mamdani's proposing. It is some of the craziest stuff. You think when you drop dead after a life of working and providing for your family and raising a family that you'd be able to keep it? Nope. Not as far as Zoran Mamdani's concerned. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And I'm just scrolling through X over here. Oscar presenter Kumail Nanjiani sparked fury on the Sunday Oscar broadcast with a tasteless joke about Schindler's List before presenting a tie win for Best Live Action Short Film. Who gives a... Yeah, who gives a... To the dismay of the audience, Nanjiani swapped Schindler's List for Schindler's Post-it before awarding the singers and two people exchanging saliva their statuettes. I want to know the context. I understand, like, Schindler's List with Schindler's Post-it. It seems like it would be a shorter list, not as important. But, of course, a little outrage. Controversy. Yeah. And Jimmy Kimmel takes a dig at CBS at the Oscars, saying, as you know, there are some countries whose leaders don't support free speech. Let's just leave it at North Korea and CBS. Oh. God, that Kimmel. Always on, always hilarious. My God. What are we doing? What are we doing as a nation?
Blah, 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 blah.
Yes. Blah, 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 indeed. So the Mamdani death tax, let me get this out, because this is just insane. How is this a thing? How is this even possible that someone can propose this? So this is his tax revenue proposal, Zoran Mamdani. And he's got a few things on here. New York City personal income tax, 2% increase in New York City rate for filers earning $1 million or more. The Fair Share Act. Every single time we hear how it's paying your fair share. How could it be fair if you keep increasing it and calling it a fair share? We've been hearing that for years. Well, they got to pay their fair share, so we're increasing this. All right, now it's fair, I guess? Yeah, it's fair. Well, nope, not anymore. But You just signed it a minute ago. It was fair. Yeah, but now it's so unfair, you won't even believe it. So we have to get it again. We have to raise the taxes. New York City Corporation increases a New York City corporate tax. Financial sector's firms from 9% to 10.8%. For non-finance sectors from 8.85 to 10.62%. Math, you know how that is. Unincorporated business taxes increases 4% to 4.4%. Personal income tax reduce New York City pass-through entity tax. I don't even know what that is. Pass-through entity tax, 75%. Other revenue proposals, property tax surcharge on 700 on values of homes, 1% surcharge. I guess that's going to raise $725 million. A surcharge on your property tax, which is just more property tax. No, we're not. Here's what they say. We're not raising your property tax. Don't be silly. We're just putting a 1% surcharge on your property tax. I guess because they don't want to make it look like they're raising your taxes, especially working people that own property. So they go, we're not raising your tax. We're putting a surcharge on it. You see that all the time. Tickets. They love doing that for parking tickets and whatnot. Like, oh, it's a $50 parking ticket. Oh, here's a $25 surcharge. Easy Pass is the worst with surcharges and penalties. If you miss a $15 toll, they will charge you $35 for missing it above and beyond the toll, added to the $15. And then some type of late fee that could get up into the hundreds of dollars in no time. So, again, these are all taxes. You're being taxed. Mansion tax. City mansion tax on properties valued over $5 million. That sounds a lot like a lot. A lot of New Yorkers and people around this country don't look at $5 million like a mere bag of shells, do they? But if you're in New York City, and you have a bit of real estate and a bit of what they consider a mansion because of the price, $5 million in property isn't a lot in New York City. They will tax you on that. They plan on raising $321 million, taxing that. And again, is this fair share? Because the people that own a mansion over $5 million, is that their fair share? While they're also getting their taxes increased by 2% for earning $1 million, while their corporations are going from 9% to 10.8%. So they're just hammering the wealthy with taxes. That's not fair share. And they wonder why they leave. And they're wondering why people are leaving. I don't even know what that is. Again, the pass-through, another pass-through tax. Close the federal tax gap by adding a state-level surcharge on capital gains income over $500,000 a year. So you make money, you invest your money. There's already capital gains taxes, already, and as per this, they're not even going to increase that. They're just going to put a surcharge on it, and they plan on raising $12 billion by doing this, taxing your already taxed money. This bastard. And then here's the biggie. Here's the one. Increase estate tax. That's your death tax. When you die, everything you own is converted to a dollar amount. And they want a piece of that. They want a piece of your dead ass. Increase estate tax by lowering the exemption to $750,000 from its current value. You want to guess what that is? The current value before they can take this percentage of money, before they could take an estate tax from you. It was, or if the proposal goes through, $7.1 million $7.1 million it used to be. Now he wants to lower it to $750,000. If you've lived your life and worked and built up equity, a house, property, money in the bank, and you had under $7.1 million, they wouldn't tax you. They wouldn't take money out, or at least that much out of an estate tax. Now, if you make $750,000, they want to take a piece of that. And the top rate is going from 16%. That would be as much as they could take. You make $15 million, or you have $15 million upon your demise. And they would take 16%. They want that increase. He wants that increase to 50%. Half your life. Half of what you've owned. Half of what you want to give your kids, your family. What you worked for, sweat for. If you own $750,000, not cash, not in the bank, people. I'm not talking your savings account, your retirement, everything you own. Take everything you own and convert it to dollars. Your house, your cars, everything. If it comes out to $750,000, they want half of it. That's your mayor. Now, thank God he cannot unilaterally do this. When I read that, the first thing I did was I ran to my phone, which was in my pocket. And I asked the mighty telephone, the mighty Grok, Google, AI. I said, can he do this without anyone else saying anything? Can he just take half of everyone's life? And they told me no. AI told me no. Mayor Mamdani cannot unilaterally raise the estate tax in New York by himself. Estate taxes are governed at the New York state level, not by the city. Any increase requires legislative action by the New York State Senate and Assembly and approval from Governor Hochul or any governor that would be in office at that time. So just like his free buses, just like his tax the rich, and everything else that even Hochul has said she won't do, the state Senate and Assembly has to approve something like this, and then it has to go to Hochul. This is just something, again, that won't get done. It won't come to fruition. Thank God. But not for the lack of this SOB wanting to do it. This is plain old-fashioned communism. This is the way he thinks and operates. His idea of the wealthy isn't wealthy. It's working class people. It may be wealthy in Muskogee. It may be wealthy in East Alabama. But in New York City, if you die and your estate has $750,000 of property and money and materials, that isn't astoundingly wealthy. That's someone who lived their life, and built up some equity in their life. And I assume if they have family, want to leave that to their kids, so their kids can build off of that and be successful. The American dream right there, to acquire enough wealth, family wealth, that your kids could have it a little easier than you did. They have a house, a base of operations, They have some money to start a business, to have that taxed up the yim-yam. And this guy wants half. Who married this guy? I didn't marry this guy. Why is he getting half? But that's what he wants. And these dummies that voted for this guy, they think he's doing a great job. They're all for this. All for this nonsense. Hochul, your Governor Hochul, she's whining. She's whining about New York businesses leaving, and she takes no responsibility for that. She takes zero responsibility. This is AC5 would be the sound clip, and let's hear her talk about businesses leaving because of, I don't know, maybe it's taxes, maybe it's the high cost of living in New York, but I don't think she's going to turn around and want to sign bills that have even more taxes for the wealthy, at least not before election time, because Hochul is known for signing bills at midnight after the election that she knows the New York public will not like. She's done this before. So let's hear what she says about businesses leaving New York.
I know New Yorkers are exasperated. They feel that everything's stacked against them. They're not getting ahead. Their rents are too damn high. Their child care costs are high. Their utility bills, and thank you to Washington, we're going to have higher prices at the pump. We already do. Everything just seems so hard for people. So I understand that frustration. You should join me in the North Country yesterday in Ogdensburg and Watertown, and people are so upset about the tariffs. Raising the cost of everything. So there is this anxiety, which is real, and we're continuing to address the affordability crisis, which I believe should be the number one priority of this legislative session. What can we do to take off some of that pain that New Yorkers are feeling that I hear about literally every day? What I want to make sure we are smart about is having a system in place where it's not just taxing for the sake of taxing, and being conscious of the facts that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state.
Generous social programs.
Right. Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem. It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states who have less of a tax burden,
who are
on
reasonable,
their corporations and their individuals. And I would say remote work changed everything. There were people who could only work in an office in Manhattan or work in New York State, and they were captives to our state. They were going to stay. We've saw that that's not the case. I mean, Wall Street businesses looking at Texas, they're not going there because they have a nicer governor. I know that for sure. But they're going there because of the tax rate. We have to be smart about this. But we can fund what we want to fund with what we already are taking in.
That doesn't sound like somebody that wants to raise taxes. Now, again, if she's elected again, yeah, she'll do that in a second. But, boy, have you ever heard somebody not take any responsibility for businesses fleeing New York State? It's every other thing except for her policies. Mamdani, even Adams when he was in. Why is it so expensive? Oh, the tariffs? Really? Somehow the tariffs are only affecting New York and not Florida. When people move down to Florida, businesses move to Florida, wealthy people move down there. It has nothing to do with the taxes in New York, the high cost of living. It's the tariffs? What? And, the price at the pumps that have gone up because of the Iran war, battle, police action, whatever you want to call it. Gas is still cheaper than it was under Biden. Still cheaper than it was under Biden, unless you live in California. because the state tax on gasoline is insane. They're paying close to $8 a gallon in California. And again, businesses are leaving California. They're bugging out of there. Every day I read about another business that's relocating to Texas or Florida or anywhere but California. And Gavin Newsom's parading around on this I want to be president tour. He just visited Texas, and it's like, look at the applause that Gavin Newsom's getting from Texans. Who would have thought? Yeah, they're applauding because he's chasing businesses out of California to relocate in Texas. I'd be applauding the guy, too. Jeez. He's terrible. That's their boy, though. That's their guy. It's their presidential candidate. So, yeah, Hochul whining about everything else affecting business and wealthy leaving New York, except her own policies. $9 above and beyond the tolls and gas and everything else to drive into New York City. Yeah, and you're blaming it on the tariffs. Oy. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Yes, it is. And just scrolling around X, if you want to add to the show and you can't get through on the phones, Anthony Cumia on X, and I'll read that during the breaks. And if there's anything good there, I'll say your X handle and your comment. How about that? How about that? How come Bad Bunny isn't hosting the Oscars in Spanish? Thank you, Charlie Churchill. And, yeah. The Oscars are still going on. I don't know the count yet. I'm just, I have goosebumps thinking about it. Or douche chills. What was it? One or the other. CNN. No one is watching CNN. MSNBC turned into MS Now, and it is just even lower rated than CNN. I don't think anyone's really watching any cable news anymore. Network news, I don't even know why they still have it. But cable news, even Fox News, while they are blowing away CNN and MSNOW, they're not like they used to be. And when people go, why don't you just watch your Fox News? I laugh at that. It's like, why? What year are you talking about? 2015 was probably the end of Fox News as I knew it. Certainly 2020, when they called Arizona for Biden before the votes were even counted, that was a big slap in the face to Trump supporters. And ever since then, it's just been downhill. I like Gutfeld. He's really funny. There's a couple of other ones. Kennedy. I like Kennedy. But for the most part, everyone over there can go screw. But CNN, I mean, you're talking the epitome of left-wing propaganda. That's all they do. Abby Phillips. She's one of the people over there. I don't expect you to know her name or the name of anyone else over there. She was reporting on the bombing, the New York City bombing in front of Gracie Mansion. There were a bunch of protesters protesting the Islamic takeover of New York City, and a couple of Islamic terrorists threw improvised explosive devices. These were nail bombs built to cause as much damage as possible as far as injuring and killing people. So Abby Phillips, like a good CNN soldier, went on and actually said that the bombing was aimed at Mamdani because it was perpetrated in front of Gracie Mansion. They twisted it and tried to spin it to make people believe by adding false information and withholding true information. They tried to make it seem like the anti-Islamic protesters threw a bomb trying to harm Islamic Mayor Mamdani. So this is AC3, and let's listen to Abby lie to the morons that are left viewing CNN.
Two Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments. Another special guest is going to be with us at the table when we come.
Did she say Islamic terrorists? Did she say they were throwing the bombs at NYPD and at anti-Islamic protesters? No. She said that Zohran Mamdani, Mayor Mamdani, was the target of this attack. You could not be further from the truth, and it was done on purpose. This is how they operate. So she went on the next day, AC4, and didn't apologize for her misleading lies. She aired a correction, and listen how this is worded. Not like I lied to you, which would be honest at least. Listen to this, AC4.
This morning I issued a correction first thing in the morning on X for a mistake that I made in last night's show, but I also wanted to do so on air as well. I incorrectly said that the bombs that were thrown by ISIS-inspired suspects in New York over the weekend were directed at Mayor Mamdani. They were not. I failed to catch and correct that mistake in real time, and I take full responsibility for that. And while we do make mistakes, it is important to acknowledge and correct those errors when they happen.
She never mentioned the Islamic terrorists in her first report. She mentions it in this correction. And also, mistake, I caught it and corrected. I wasn't able to catch it in time. It's on your prompter. It's written there for you to say, puppet. And that's why you said it. You lied to the people and tried to get away with it. When you got caught, you had to get on and issue a correction. No, that should have been an apology. Hey, we tried to get through some shenanigans here. And whoopsie. That's how it works. They lie. They lie to you. And then when they get caught, they come up with these cockamamie corrections. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, hey, we all make mistakes. What are you going to do about it? And then I take full responsibility? What does that even mean? Consequences? Ha, yeah, right. For doing your job like a good little commie lying soldier. CNN. Oh, my God. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, it is the Anthony Cumia Show, and thank you so much for popping on in and hanging out on this Sunday evening. Oscar night. You can feel it in the air, can't you? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hold on. Maybe feel it. No, it's more like smelling it in the air. It smells like the non-pointy end of a bull. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I hope everybody is going to have a fun St. Paddy's Day. Hope you got plans. The New York audience just heard a little break on that. It's a little privilege New Yorkers have on this show. They hear a little thing I do top of each hour. Shh, keep it quiet, though. St. Paddy's Day. Yeah, I hope that sticks around for a while. The Columbus Day thing, you know, over the course of the years, old Chris Columbus been taking a big beating. And it's just, I don't know. Everyone loves St. Paddy's Day. It's a fun holiday. Columbus Day isn't a fun holiday. It's a day off. It's like President's Day for Italians. But St. Paddy's Day has always been so fun. Go out. New York especially. Oh, I remember playing vomit hopscotch. going from bar to bar, trying to avoid where the lightweights, the rookies, have left their mark. A few too many Guinnesses, car bombs, whatever it is. Yeah, I want that to continue. But, some would have it disassembled, done away with, put away. We don't like this. It's too European. It's too Irish. It's too white. It's too this and that. So, Tuesday. It's always tough. It's always tough, those weekdays, especially a Tuesday. You get Monday out of the way. You go to work. Monday always sucks. And then Tuesday, you're like, it's St. Paddy's Day. A Wednesday hangover is just abysmal. And St. Paddy's Day is a daytime thing. It's not really a nighttime holiday. And there's so much drinking involved that by 7 p.m., you are snotted. You are just done. I think you start feeling a hangover around 10 p.m. And hopefully, you drop a couple of Excedrin and pass out and wake up feeling a little better. But it's such a weird drinking holiday because, New Year's Eve, obviously, it's nighttime. If you're drinking at noon on New Year's Eve, you got some issues. But drinking at noon on St. Paddy's Day, that's a late start. That's a late start. Back in the old radio days, the Opie and Anthony days, they used to send us on remotes up in Boston when we were with AAF and in New York with WNEW. They'd send us to a bar. And it would just be, hey, do a live appearance. You do station breaks. Hey, we're here at Hogs and Heifers and old school radio. And the amount of people that would be there. And we started our show at 3 p.m. And they were already hammered at 3 p.m. So St. Paddy's Day, it's a weird drinking holiday. It's primarily a drinking holiday, but it's one of the more strange ones for how early you start. Yeah, and I hope the parade, I hear Sid's going to be at the parade, and then Danny's going to be in the parade. What an abomination that is. I mean, for God's sake. A guy that wants to tear down Western culture and traditions, and he's the one that's going to be marching. And the NYPD is a huge part, the Emerald Society, a huge part of St. Paddy's Day. They have their bagpipes and drums. Every time in New York, it was so cool to be in a bar, and then you'd hear kind of a little commotion, and there they were, drums and fifes and bagpipes and very loud in the bar. But you didn't care. You've been drinking since 9 a.m. Who would care? But that's always cool. Next time I get asked what I miss about being in New York City proper, I always say, like, my family. I miss being up and seeing my family and friends on a regular basis. But St. Paddy's Day, too. I always had fun on St. Paddy's Day in New York City. It's crazy, but a lot of fun. Anywho, the state of Virginia. The state of Virginia, the state and the state of Virginia, the condition Virginia is in under some of the most liberal Democrat nonsense that is going on in old Virginia. It's a shame. It is really a shame because they are stomping on your rights. There's a gun anti-Second Amendment bill. I'm not calling it gun control. It's not. Gun control is hitting your target. It's an anti-Second Amendment bill. They want you to think it's an assault weapons ban and this and that. The criteria is ridiculous. Any weapon with a threaded barrel. Oh, no, you might put a silencer on that. Even if it's a bolt action, is prohibited. Oh, they want to turn legal, law-abiding gun owners into gun criminals. They want to make it so that if you get arrested on one of these ridiculous right-infringing laws that they're putting in place, that you never are able to own a gun again. Oh, that guy was arrested for a gun crime. That's it. Oh, he's convicted. Oh, he pled out and got this. They're still not giving you your guns back. That is their real goal. Oh, no one's coming for your guns. Yeah, they are. They are. At least as far as right now goes, they're not knocking on your door or battering, ramming it down and taking your guns. I can't say that won't happen. Years ago, I would have been able to definitively say I couldn't even imagine that happening. Not so much these days. Not so much. But what they are doing is enacting laws that they know people really can't adhere to. These anti-Second Amendment laws that they put in place are pretty much you can't comply to them. I own 30 round magazines and I'm not supposed to give them to anyone or transport them or use them. The laws are so vague and so convoluted and that you don't even know if you're abiding by the laws or not. But they just want you to accidentally break the law, not know it, and ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And then they can say, well, you're a gun criminal. You can't own guns anymore. And they've taken your guns. It's a workaround. They're not going to get as many people as they would for banging a door down and trying to take your guns. But then again, they won't get shot trying because there are plenty of Americans that wouldn't be hip to having their door busted down and their Second Amendment right taken from them. So Virginia has decided they are going to enact a assault weapons ban and a bunch of other weapon-related bans and laws and whatnot. So one of these things is an amendment to keep you from possessing a weapon, carrying a firearm or explosive material within Capitol Square and the surrounding area into a building owned or leased by the Commonwealth. For the purpose of this section, Capitol Square and the surrounding area means the grounds, land, real property, and improvements in the city of Richmond, Virginia, bounded by Bank, Governor, Broad, and 9th Streets, and the sidewalks of Bank Street extending from 50 feet west of Pocahontas Building entrance to 50 feet east of the entrance of the capital of Virginia. This is what they do. New York has done this. Governor Hochul has done this. What they do is they say, yeah, we're not taking away your right to bear arms. That would be terrible. We're not like that. We're just going to prevent you from carrying a weapon here, 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 here. And they add in all these things within a certain area around a school, a church, a government building, a federal building, a courtroom. And then you look around on a map and realize that's everywhere. I cannot carry a weapon in this area. And then the other thing they did was make it so you can't even keep the gun in your car. So let's say you drove within the boundaries, the restricted boundaries that they lay out in this bill. You can't leave your gun in the car. That's illegal. How they enforce that, I don't know, but I don't put it past them. That prevents you from ever taking your gun out. Now, look at what they've done. they've made a law that you can't carry your gun in a certain area. And you can't leave it in your car. So you can't take it out of your house if you're going to be in that area. Now you're unarmed no matter where you go. Even in areas that aren't restricted, for anyone that's going to be in the restricted area, you have to leave your gun at home. And that's another one of their goals. We'll continue with this in a little bit, a couple of minutes, but right after this break, because there's so many things in here that are just so scummy on the part of the Virginia legislature. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and we're talking about old Virginia, just rife with liberal Democrat leadership, using the term loosely. And they're right off the starting line, right when this Democrat legislature got in there. All they've been doing is stomping on your rights. And the guy that sponsored this anti-Second Amendment bill was born in Bangladesh. He comes over here as an immigrant to come to America for a better life than in Bangladesh. And what does he do? He just starts ripping our rights out from under us. And the Second Amendment, a very important right. And it's beyond me. The people of Virginia and New York City, what are you doing? You're making me lose all faith in you people. Help me out here. So Virginia passed this bill, and they don't want you carrying a firearm in a certain areas, one of which being any building owned or leased by the Commonwealth and Capitol Square and surrounding areas. It's all very vague. Sidewalks are involved. And then they don't let you leave your gun in your vehicle. So, you put two and two together and realize I can't leave my house with my gun if I'm driving into this restricted area, even if it's only for a moment, because I can't leave the gun in my car. So you wind up having to leave your house unarmed or be a criminal. There you go. Like I said before, they force you into a gun crime. And where does that leave you? With your guns being taken away because you're a criminal. It's their motive. I'm not being crazy here. I'm not being paranoid. This has been their motive. When they say they're not taking your guns away, they're taking your guns away. So the thing that really, really pissed a lot of people off was in the last paragraph of this thing. They have all the provisions that were listed, most of which the important ones I stated. And then provision G, the provisions of this section shall not apply to any member of the General Assembly who leaves a handgun in an unattended motor vehicle pursuant to blah, 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 when such vehicle is parked in any parking structure reserved for members of the Assembly. So they exempted themselves. They exempted themselves from this rule of law. They can leave the gun in the vehicle. So they could drive in armed. When they get to work as the General Assembly, they can put their gun in the glove box or wherever they want to put it and go into the building and work. And then when they come out, they could strap the gun back on them and be protected, unlike the citizens that they presume to represent, because their safety is so much more important than yours. Bastards doing this. I mean, how do you vote for this? well, you're a bleeding heart liberal idiot. That's how you vote for this. So I did read another take on this, and I don't know. It's an addendum to this that it's the same thing, but they left out the exemption for the General Assembly of Virginia. But I don't know which one is going through, which one is actually being volleyed about to be signed. So I don't know. But don't put anything past them. They are trying. They are trying with all their heart to keep you from being able to protect yourself with a firearm. Don't doubt it. And they want you in a position where you have your guns taken away from you because you broke the law. The laws they put in place that are impossible to adhere to, impossible to really know what they are. Not every gun owner in this country is an expert on laws. I try to keep up on as many as I can around the country. I certainly keep up on the ones in my state and city and whatnot. But it's impossible. It's impossible to keep tabs on all the laws in this country. And that's the way they want it. They want you confused, tripped up, and then they go, up, you blew it. Guns, please. This guy here, this is really funny in a tragic way, tragic comedy. Virginia Democrat Garrett McGuire. He's commenting on the shooting at Old Dominion. Mohammed Baylor Jalal. I'm so tired of having to figure out how to pronounce these friggin' names. He's the guy that shot up Old Dominion. He killed one person, injured a couple others, and then a bunch of cadets attacked him without any weapons, took him down, and stabbed him to death. Wonderful. A happy ending. He allegedly brought an assault rifle for a planned attack and sent $500 to undercover agents he thought were ISIS. This is back in 2016, July 2016. He was arrested for attempting to provide material support to ISIS. How is he still in the country? He's a naturalized citizen from Senegal. He's in this country, and he goes to ISIS and tries to sell them weapons and information and attack people in this country. Yet he was still allowed to stay in this country. Beyond me. He pled guilty, was sentenced to 11 years, and then was let out by Joe Biden, by the Biden administration. And he shot up Old Dominion. And this guy here, Virginia Democrat Garrett McGuire, he says that this proved that guns aren't needed to take down someone with a gun. Listen to this.
But wait, Mr. Speaker, I asked the body to look at line 49, where we exempt cadets in a college ROTC program.
Exempt from
even
the gun,
though that we know
some of the gun laws.
That it's not always true that you need a gun to fight back someone with a gun. Because those hero cadets didn't. Levu Labrescu, a Holocaust survivor, professor at Virginia Tech, didn't have a gun when he selflessly gave up his body to prevent the Virginia Tech shooter from entering his classroom and saving lives that day. So, Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt this important conference report.
Can you even believe what he's saying here? You don't need a gun if a gunman goes into a building and starts shooting everyone up, because the cadets at Old Dominion proved that you could take a gunman down without a gun. So can I have 20 or so cadets follow me around just in case a gunman decides to shoot up the place I'm in? 20 cadets, that'd be good. Can I get a 20 cadet permit, a license to brandish 20 cadets when someone wants to shoot up an establishment I might be frequenting? Or like Virginia Tech, hey, throw your body in front of them. You don't need a gun. Just lob your body in front of the gunman and be brave. to protect other people. Or, how about this? Or have a gun that your Second Amendment right says you can have and carry, and have the best tool available to you to protect yourself and your loved ones, your family, and perhaps some citizens if the need rears its ugly head. But this idiot is trying to use the fact that cadets, military cadets, ROTC cadets, had the gumption and wherewithal to realize a shooting was happening, jump up and rush this guy. They did the right thing. But thinking that that is an option to having a gun is insane. Virginia, I'm sorry. You are lost. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And I guess I'm not quite done with Virginia yet. My God. Virginia Democrats passed a bill, HB 61, if you want to look it up. And this bill prioritizes government contracts based on competency? Nope. Race and gender. Race and gender. The most important things when you're trying to get a government contract. You know, the government wants well, they don't really care if the job is done correctly. They just want to make sure that the race and gender of the people doing the job is within their parameters. They don't care if things fall apart or the jobs never get done or the cost overruns are astronomical. As long as white dudes aren't involved. That's really what this is. White dudes need not apply. The bill, like I said, prioritizes government contracts based on race and gender. This is called SWAM. SWAM. Small Women and Minority Businesses. Wouldn't it be women and minority small businesses? WAMSB. WAMSB. I guess they needed the acronym. Small women and minority businesses. White people will be pushed to the back of the line. White men, really. Women, they'll get some of the contracts. Minority women will get it over white women, I'm sure, but white men don't have a chance. White people pushed back of the line in consideration for government contracts and not be considered at all for some contracts. So some of them, they get put on the bottom of the pile. Others go right into the shredder. It forces state agencies to hit a 42% quota for small women and minority businesses, meaning businesses owned by minorities, women, or certain designated groups. It also sets aside government contracts under $100,000 specifically for those businesses, meaning white people can't even be awarded those contracts. So anything over $100,000, you, as a white guy, you can bid on the contract, but you probably won't get it. If it's under $100,000, don't even try. They're not considering you at all, based on nothing but race. This is so illegal, so illegal. Translation, if you're a small business owner who doesn't fall into these categories, you're pushed to the back of the line, not because of price or quality or experience, but because of race and gender quotas. That's not equality. It's state-mandated discrimination in government contracting, and it's happening in Virginia. This is happening in Virginia. They are passing laws. I mean, you people in the rest of the country better look at Virginia. Keep your eyes on Virginia. That is potentially what is going to happen in the United States, if they get all the marbles, they get the presidency, the House, the Senate, this is what you're going to see. These are the bills that you will see passed. You think it's kind of nice that of late we haven't seen as much woke nonsense, not as much emphasis on transgender stuff and drag queen story time. We really don't hear about that much anymore. You know, there's still transgender, there's still kids that they're saying are transgender, and they're pumping them full of drugs and unnecessary barbaric mutilation surgeries. But we're not really seeing it as much as we did during the Biden administration. Don't think that's because they don't want it. Trump has been running block on all that nonsense. And they've been trying their best to stop him from doing that with these activist judges appointed by Obama and Biden, DAs and prosecutors. It's, you know, we saw it. It was happening. And it will happen again. Keep your eye on old Virginia, because that is a microcosm of what could happen in this country given the right circumstances. The right circumstances being the wrong people in power. It can happen, man. Let's talk to Tom, Long Island, New York. What's up, Tom?
Hey, Anthony. Number one, I want to thank you very, very much for taking my call.
Thank you.
First time call to your show. I've been trying to put this message out to this radio station with several hosts. I waited on the line to the program's ended and never got taken. So thank you again.
It happens. There's a lot of calls and a few lines. So.
I'm 65 years old. Had 9 uncles fight for this country since World War II. One of my uncles survived the Bataan Death March. Every one of my uncles, after the 5 that went to World War II, the other 4 served in Korea and all came home. God bless it.
Oh, that's nice.
They're laying in national cemeteries for serving this country. I've recently visited my father's grave, where my mother is also laying there. A Democratic Party, blue and blue, true and true, way back when the Democrats were true.
Yeah.
She worked for the OSS before it was the CIA. Never once said anything she did there. Nobody in my family, outside of a couple of my uncles, told me about what they went through. But my grandmother, going through World War II, had to sacrifice beef, had to get coupons for beef. People complaining about gas prices going up 60 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to get together in this country and start coming to realize what everyone in that cemetery filled with national heroes and people who survived had the decency to put their life on the line to survive, are turning it all away because they have no dedication to this country no more. Where are the true patriotics of this country? Where are the upstanding Minutemen that we want to go back to and really see? I am livid. And I know one thing, and I can tell you this honestly. When I stood at my father's grave, I could almost hear and fear the rumble from the ground of all these patriots who gave their life and suffered maybe injuries, roaring at this country saying, I did this so you survive. Where
Tom,
are
do you think
people?
do you think people in this day and age understand things like sacrifice and not getting instant gratification and having to go through hard times and realizing that sometimes that's necessary for the greater good of the country? These were things that the people you speak of, your uncles and parents and whatnot, understood. And, you know, it wasn't pleasant, but they understood that sometimes you have to go through tough times and make sacrifices. Nowadays,
I agree 100%.
No way
Not to
these
interrupt
days.
you, but this was handed down when I was a kid. We would sit around a table eating dinner, and whatever you discussed at the dinner table never left the house. These people go out now and just spit. There was a term back in the old days, lose slips, sink ships.
Yeah.
People out of the media. Like, I don't want to bash one of your previous posts, but talking about how bad the New York City subway system is vulnerable, why would you even put that idea out there when you got all these teenage kids looking for an idea to do something?
Yeah, well, I think they know. I don't think anybody.
We need to go back to the systems when, hey, as far as I'm concerned, Mandami, I didn't get a chance to vote for him because I don't live in the city, but they have to go. If you don't like it here, get the hell out.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be vulgar, but
no, I agree, and I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the call, Tom. Be well. Yeah, that's how the older generation thinks. I'm in that too, but you have to realize. Look, I know a lot of people are furious about this war, or we didn't technically declare war, but again, semantics. There's bombs being dropped and people are dying. So semantics, the war. And people are livid. They're coming up with all kinds of ideas as to why we're there, what we're doing, why we shouldn't be there. It's very hard for American citizens to know exactly what's going on. We're certainly not told everything. I don't even think we're told most things. I think we're told very little as to what's really going on. And history is a great indicator of just that. As time goes by and more comes out about historical events, you realize that the people were kept in the dark. And sometimes I guess that's necessary, or at least the powers that be feel it's necessary. Would it have been good to let the American people know that we were working on the atomic bomb? Hey, everyone, we're working on this amazing bomb that could end the war in a couple of days or a week. The invasion of Europe, Normandy. Hey, don't worry, people. We got a huge invasion coming right there. So it's not like you're sitting there as some cuckold for the government saying, well, good, I don't want to know. I don't want to know those things. The government should be able to do things without telling us, because that sounds like, you got a boot in your mouth. But there are certain circumstances that I've just mentioned that I think anyone would be hard-pressed to say, no, we should have known that. They should have informed the American people that the English had decoded the Enigma machine and that we were getting all of Germany's communications. There are certain things that we can't know. It is the way it is. So to say you know everything and every reason that we are doing what we're doing in Iran right now is naive. That's naive. I don't know. Maybe they are there just to do Israel's bidding, like some people say. Because how do I know? Or maybe they knew that Iran was up to things with a nuclear program. Or they just said, enough of this country. Enough of them pulling this crap for decade upon decade upon decade. They're the last holdout of this old school Middle Eastern sponsors of terrorism. Saudi got their ass in gear. They're still terrible to their own people, but it's not like they're ready to launch missiles into neighboring countries anytime soon. They do business with them. The almighty dollar has been responsible for so much peace in the Middle East. All of them are wheeling and dealing with each other, except Iran. And they look and go, yeah, this is like having some a-hole at work. You're trying to get work done. You're trying to be productive. And there's just an a-hole running around screwing up the program. And that is Iran right now in the Middle East. And they got away with it for many years because a lot of countries in the Middle East were like that. Unstable, ready to drop bombs and switch the violence switch on. But now, doing business with the Middle East is something every country in the world does. They do business. Iran is bad for business. It has to be done away with. Has to be changed. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But, to say that you know is crazier than anything I've just said. Saying you know for sure that it's this, that, him, who, what, country, this one, is insane to say you absolutely know this. When you could just look at history, like I said, and realize we don't know. We don't know anything. And sometimes it's better that way. And you could say again, I sound like I got a boot over my neck or my throat or my mouth, but there were plenty of examples where the government did not tell the American people what was going on, and it was absolutely for the better. It's how things have to work sometimes. Clandestine. Oh, boy. Day wouldn't be complete without the lovely Susan. What's up, Susan?
Hi, Anthony.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, you made a little mistake. Mamdani didn't have that little prayer session at Gracie Mansion. It was much worse. It was in the Blue Room at City Hall.
Oh, City Hall, yeah. I always say Gracie Mansion because that's where, you're used to seeing the mayors doing a lot of their work and stuff in the office.
Oh, no, it's much worse. You can't mix state with religion.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that wonderful?
So, I hope he doesn't have a weekly meeting there of his.
He probably will. Because who's going to do anything about it, Susan? Who's going to?
I don't know.
Who's going to say anything about it except people here, radio stations, podcasts? Other than that, the New Yorkers
if I was a little younger, I'd move down to the Carolinas where you are.
Oh boy, get yourself a mint julep.
I've really had it. I'm living on the Upper East Side, not far from Gracie Mansion. Across the street, we have a migrant shelter. They're opening up at the hotel on 62nd Street.
Upper West Side or East Side?
East Side.
Oh, East
York
Side.
Avenue at the river here.
Oh, boy.
The best location.
Isn't that where they were supposed to live on I Love Lucy? Wasn't that Lucy and Ricky's apartment?
That's right. They were supposed to live on the Upper East Side near the river, like in the 600 block. There's no such thing.
Yeah, Murray Hill 5, 7735. Murray Hill 5. Yeah, it's all going to hell. It's all going to hell. Manhattan, all the formerly upper crusty neighborhoods, they're all going.
We're getting a women's shelter on First Avenue and 61st Street.
That ought to bring in some good people.
Yes.
Fentanyl addicts and prostitutes.
Right next door to $3 million apartments.
Yeah, well, that's what they want to do. They want to make those $3 million apartments $500,000 apartments. They lower the value of it so that way the city can buy them up. And now it's the city's apartments, and Mamdani could do what he wanted to do, fill them full of low-income renters. Yeah, that's what's happening. Lower the property values, and the city does the rest. Susan, thank you so much for the phone call. Can't get through a Sunday evening without Susan. That's for sure. But, it's they're building these shelters and other places. They're putting these illegal aliens into these hotels, and the surrounding area gets affected with drug use and violence, and the property value goes down. And then if the people want to sell their property before it bottoms out, they will sell it to anyone, and that anyone is the city. And you know what Mamdani's take is on city property. He doesn't want private ownership. So he wants the New York to own these properties. And that's his strategy. If you don't see it, you're a dummy. All right, back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show, and Oscar news, Michael B. Jordan wins for Best Actor. Yeah. There you go. Well, I guess everything's fixed. I guess the Oscars isn't racist anymore. Good to know. Everyone stood up and applauded. I've never seen the other nominees so excited. You know, they put everybody in the screen, and all the other Best Actor nominees were so excited, like they won. They jumped up and applauded. Yes. Oh, my God, I don't want to look racist. Please don't make me look racist. I'm so glad I won. There you go. Ugh. My God. His first Oscar ever. He wins that. And then Hollywood director David Borenstein, he just said, you lose your country by being complicit when a government murders people in our streets. Stay out of the way of ICE. You won't get shot in the face. When we don't say anything, when oligarchs take over the media and control how we produce it and consume it, when accepting an Oscar for his documentary, Mr. Nobody Against Putin. The media, oligarchs take over the media and control how it's produced. You're at the Academy Awards. This is where everyone who produces the media, who puts out the product that influences the people, the propaganda. What the hell are you talking about? They don't even know what they're saying anymore, these Hollywood jackasses. Javier Bardem once again ruined the Oscars by bringing his personal politics into it, saying no to war and free Palestine. And, of course, the entire room clapped like seals. Again, bringing the politics onto the stage. Jimmy Kimmel brought politics up there, going after CBS and Melania Trump. All right. What did he say? Kimmel, oh, man, is he going to be mad that his wife wasn't nominated for this documentary film, I guess? Oh, God. Unbelievable. This is Hollywood. These are the award shows. Who would go to any other, or who would care or watch or be at any event where a bunch of people just talked about how awesome they were and how great they are and pat each other on the back? What did Michael B. Jordan say? I stand here because of the people that came before me. Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, Jamie Foxx, Forrest Whitaker, Will Smith. You going to smack someone? And to be amongst those giants, amongst those greats, amongst my ancestors. Thank you. It's always got to come down to that, doesn't it? You can't just be, hey, thanks. Won an award. 2026, for God's sake. Yes, Sidney Poitier. That was impressive. What was that, the 60s? Sidney Poitier wins an Academy Award at a time when, there was racism. Now, we all knew he was going to win this. We all knew it. For Sinners, for a knockoff of From Dusk Till Dawn with black people instead of Hispanic people. That was pretty much it. Can we all just get along? Apparently not. Apparently not. And the Bank of England has decided to remove Winston Churchill from its £5 note. this again, just another way to tear down Western civilization, Western traditions, ideals, heroes, whatever you want to call it. I don't like Winnie Churchill all that much, but taking Europeans, white Europeans, English, Anglo off of money, taking statues down. We've seen that happen so many times here in this country. And they're going to replace it with nature. So they'll put some birds, maybe a tree on it instead of Winston Churchill. And the reasoning was that it was just time because England is known for its nature and whatnot. And it isn't. It offends Muslims. It offends English people in England, not English, people in England that have come from other faraway crap-hole lands that use the 5-pound note. They don't want to look at a jolly, drunken white man. So they'll look at nature right up until they put a person of color on the note. Yeah. That's what will happen. I guess the Susan B. Anthony that was supposed to be on the 20, they were going to get rid of Andrew Jackson and put, not Susan B. Anthony, the Underground Railroad. The hell was her name? They were going to put her on the, Harriet Tubman. They were going to put Harriet Tubman on a 20, and Trump put an end to that. She's not a very attractive woman. Andrew Jackson, you know, he did some stuff. He was handsome. To have to pull out a $20 bill and look at Harriet Tubman, I wasn't looking forward to that. So glad that the kibosh was put on that. All right, people, thank you so much. We adore you for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here next Sunday. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. Other jewelers hate Steven Singer. Why? Because Steven Singer has the best real natural diamond stud earrings in America. Everybody knows gold and diamond prices are crazy right now. Gold at the highest price in history. That means ever. Lucky for you, Steven Singer has locked in his diamond studs at the old prices. Steven has diamond studs available from a quarter carat all the way up to 10 carats total weight. All at the same perfect price as last year. Same incredible value. There's no better time to get a pair of diamond stud earrings from Steven Singer Jewelers. Yes, this can't last forever. Each pair eye flawless, near colorless, beautiful stuff. They come with his safety silicone bags, so you never have to worry about losing them. Oh, okay. And with his unbeatable full-time value lifetime trade-in, you know your diamonds are always worth what you paid. All backed by the best guarantee in the jewelry business. It's a full 100-day, 100% no-hassle money-back guarantee. Plus fast free shipping. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.